Hi, folks. So we are here to do a post-tour podcast for the Shaolin Badgers. First ever podcast for the Shaolin Badgers. And I'm with 4 members of the team who went on the tour to Henningsvær and beyond. So Lance, Gop, Johnny, and Harold, thank you. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello.
Thanks all. Glad to be here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
so haven't seen much of you guys since the podcast because you've been, stars in your own making, lots of red carpet events. I think I saw you at the BAFTAs. So, Lance, firstly, how has life been since the tour?
Straight back into normal life. Obviously got my little daughter to look after, so straight back into reality. But I keep harping back about all the good experiences we had, and just really enjoyed it. So, back to normal now.
And Harold, I know you like a disco. Have you been partying it up?
Well, I got back and I had to take the week off. I was that sad to be back because I enjoyed myself so much. But I took that week off, and then the week after I got back into it again, like Lance just mentioned. But yeah, I did. It was tough getting back here and getting back to normal life, to be honest with you.
So you had 2 weeks off?
Yeah, that would have been the second week. Yeah.
Crikey, good on you. Good on you. Gop, you spent a lot of time cooking, and sometimes it was very stressful, and the camera doesn't show a lot of that. How have you been since you've been back?
No, it was actually, I think the first night I was dead, but I had to go back to work straight away, and we got the Euros coming up, so it's been crazy. It's felt like I got hit by a truck being back, really. Just wish I was sleeping in Norway somewhere again, but can't live that way.
We talk about sleeping. Johnny, you seem so at peace when you're sleeping. Did you get plenty when you came back?
Well, yeah, I mean, the rest of the team can vouch for my heavy sleeping with the amount of snoring on tour. But I had a very, very long sleep when I came back, absolutely knackered. But since then, it's been like straight into exam season. So I've had 3 exams since I've been back. So I was very much in a different world in Norway, and then had 3 days to prep and then straight into it. So it was a bit of a chaotic return, but complete chalk and cheese compared to how idyllic Norway was, especially the north, the Arctic Circle and everything. But got through it now and got 3 weeks off till my next exam. So got through the first tough week, and now a bit more of a chill again and decompressing and everything.
Wow, if I knew that, I would have spoken to the exam board and pushed all the exams back.
Yeah, I wish they were so accommodating. I don't think that excuse would fly, but I wish it did.
And of course, Harold, since we've been back, we've now seen the film. What were your thoughts on the film?
Considering all the type of cameras they had, etc., I wasn't really surprised. I was kind of that was the video I was kind of expecting. But again, even though I was expecting it, I was very impressed. It was good to watch over it. It was a shame I couldn't watch it live, but the 10-minute video sent over, it was good to just watch. We lived it, but to watch us living it back, it was a bit surreal. So yeah, it was nice.
And Gop, you feature prominently in the kitchen. How was it watching it all back and realizing that was a lived experience?
Yeah, it was crazy because when I was looking back at it, I realized the stressful days weren't in Henningsvær. It was in I think Bodo, so it was actually quite Bergen, sorry. And it's quite nice to watch it back, but I think one of my favorite shots was us, having dinner, watching the Copa del Rey final, having a few drinks. That's pretty nice. Obviously, you guys were living life up in the karaoke. But one thing for Diego is you should have showed my assist in there, man. Missed out the assist for Jaden's first goal. That was rude.
Was that you?
Who else would it be, mate?
And Johnny, there's a really good picture of you kicking the ball into the sky. How was it for you when you saw the film?
Yeah, it was great. My only complaint, I wish there wasn't footage of me conceding a goal in that game as well. But we'll move past that. That's my only issue with it. It was I was kind of surprised that we got so much airtime. It was nice to see like the whole 10-minute clip. I wasn't necessarily expecting that when we were getting recorded in the first place. But yeah, it was like edged together so well. And like the one thing that was really nice was when I was watching it, like I was flicking through the comments on YouTube, and it was actually all like really, really nice and really positive. And people talking about like wanting to bring us to Spain. And the internet is not usually such a kind place when it comes to comments. So it was nice to see that people seem to like it, and yeah, it was like edited together so well. It was such a nice like way to live it again after, because it was so fast paced the first time. There's so much going on. Like it was quite a nice reflective experience.
You're right, and Spanish people tend to be warm and friendly, and that was reflected in a lot of the comments. I mean, they could have mentioned something about your eating, Lance, because there's I think there's a part of the film where you're taking a big chomp out of Gop's food. What were your thoughts on the film?
To be honest, I thought it was really good. I wasn't I don't know, like Harold said, they had all the gear and all that, but yeah, I thought they captured it so well. And to be honest, I was quite surprised as well that it was for 10 minutes. I thought we'd just have like a little 2-minute segment and there wouldn't be much footage, but yeah, they captured everything really well. And like Johnny says, looking back at it after we'd got back and the dust had settled, it was really good just to sort of relive it, because when you're playing, you don't always take it in, but watching it all again, I thought it was brilliant. Yeah, really enjoyed it. Definitely saved it for future reference.
Definitely. And one of the things about the film is that it doesn't really say that we were in Norway for a whole week. We were touring, we were moving around. And so it's that moment in time in the Arctic Circle in Henningsvær that's really captured. But Johnny, we were all over the country, and you've been to Norway before. This was your second visit, but you got to go all over the country. So what did you learn and discover about Norway in the time you were there?
Yeah, honestly, like it was so different to before, because I'd gone in I think 2018 in May, just to Oslo, and like Oslo is obviously a beautiful city, but I think Norway is one of those countries where it's the natural beauty outside of the capital that is really, really what sells the country. And like when we're up in the Arctic Circle, like not just Henningsvær but further as well, it was so idyllic, just mountains everywhere, gorgeous water all over the place. But yeah, the one thing that was definitely hammered home to me, especially when it was just Josh and I off on certain points, was how much Norwegians are very, very confident that I'm Norwegian as well. Like when it was just the two of us, both, blonde haired and blue eyes, the amount of times we were spoken to in Norwegian and we both just had to look at them dumbfounded, like, no, I'm so sorry, you got to speak English to us. That was one continuity between my two trips for sure. But no, the natural beauty was just like, I've never seen anywhere like it. It's the most north I've ever been. Like I had family in Reykjavik as well. I've been to Reykjavik before, but even then, it was just like absolutely gobsmacking. Like that drive from Svolvær to Henningsvær in the Arctic, like just so many mountains, so many fjords, just so beautiful. Like I did not see that last time when I was just in Oslo, so it was really nice to see the whole country.
And Gop, you did a bit of sneaking off by yourself and sightseeing that people don't quite know about. So you must have discovered quite a lot about Norway then.
Yeah, so I think I went to a couple of museums, and for me, I wish I went to more. Just probably we had too many games on. We were kind of had a busy schedule. But one thing I always found was like the culture was just great. I think when we got to our last spot in where the last place we went to was Bergen. Was it Bergen?
It was.
Yeah. So in Bergen, I think just being there, I think there was a lot of culture. It seems really multicultural, just similar to London. For me, the vibe was like really similar. So I really enjoyed that. But I think one of the things that struck through was kind of friendly everyone was. In like life, you get all the hustle and bustle, but then everyone's like really nice. Everyone's really like chill. You know, you come back to London, everyone's like, you got to move, you got to hurry, you got to bustle. But yeah, I really enjoyed the vibes, and I think for me, just the culture was amazing. Didn't expect that at all.
And Lance, I seem to recall you going to a few spas and leisure centres.
Yeah, that was quite fun. That was more for rest and recuperation for my older bones and muscles. So I think it was necessary. But I've never been to like Scandinavia before, so just I had a few preconceptions of it, and yeah, it sort of surpassed that massively. I think like the guys have just mentioned, like the scenery you see is just incredible. On one of the numerous flights we had, all the flights you could see it, or just like looking out the window, it was like a TV show. Yeah, and like you've said as well, I think everyone was really friendly and just everyone was so chilled out. It's just really nice to see and really positive. Like I say, back in England, it's a bit more hustle and bustle. So yeah, it was really good. I also noticed that beer was really expensive as well, so that's the only downside.
It is the only downside, but that didn't stop Harold going to a party or a shubs. It's a new word I heard. What did you discover about partying, and what else did you discover about Norway?
I won't go that far. It wasn't so much a party. It was just a few drinks with Jaden. But like the boys said, like where we are, it's just like 100 miles per hour. It doesn't stop. And I'd never been Norway myself, but heading there, I knew it'd be scenic, but I just never ever thought it would be so calm and so quiet and so, like Lance said, just everyone's just so chill, just chilled out, laid back. Everything's just going at their own pace, kind of thing. And there was a few times in Henningsville where I just couldn't, but I felt like I was in a movie, like we were the last people on Earth. Like it just seemed crazy, and even though I knew it'd be scenic, it still took my breath away. Like even Bergen towards the end, like there was a few occasions playing during the game where I just stood there and I thought, where am I playing? Yeah, just so calm. That's what really took my breath away. It was just so calm. Even though it was Oslo as well, because that's obviously the capital, and I knew it was a bank holiday, but still, for it to be that calm, it was just really. It did really feel like even though we were playing every day and it did still feel like a break away from, like I said earlier, the 100 miles per hour we live in.
And Gop, we're talking about our experiences in Norway now and away from Henningsvar and the whole country. We spoke at the end of the tour about our highlight of the tour. Can you remind us what yours was?
Yeah, for me, I think there was a lot of highlights. Playing the games in Norway were pretty big. I enjoy football, so just playing those games against some good opposition was really enjoyable. Just getting to meet the guys. But I think for me, the spa day was incredible. I think before we were kind of just a bunch of guys who knew each other, but like after that spa day, I think everyone kind of wind down. You got to pop a champagne on TV. Didn't get a lot of that, but we just had such a good time. I think from where we started before we got there, everyone kind of felt like everyone knew each other. It wasn't like a proper team, but after that, I think when we came out like a proper team, if I'm honest. And for me, those 2 hours were great. So big up to Water for sorting that out for us.
Nothing like being half naked with other males to bring you closer together. But Johnny, I remember. I seem to recall you eating whale. Was that your highlight, or was there something else?
The whale was up there. Yeah, with smoked whale and cod puns, which I didn't even know was an option to eat. But that was a really, really good meal on the water with like mountain views and everything. I got to echo the spa day as well. As much as I would never ever do it again, jumping into that freezing cold water was an experience that will stick with me for a very long time. And it was nice to see the shot of me having a pint with the mountains and the water in the background, just in my swimming trunks. That was definitely unique. Both big highlights, I must say, and as well the final whistle of our final game, I must say, could not have come soon enough. I was this isn't on the footage, but I was a dead man walking even in the warm up, and to come back from 2-0 and win 3-2 was huge. But I could not have played another second of football. You couldn't have paid me after the full-time whistle there. So it was such a great crescendo to like end the tour on, with such a big come from behind win, and knowing that I wouldn't have to play football whilst not being able to walk after that as well was music to my ears. So yeah, there were too many to pick just one, but all three of them do really stick out, I must say.
So Harold, I seem to hear you admit that you stopped playing football and took in the wonderment of heading far. I wonder if that's why we lost. But apart from that, what was your highlight of the tour?
Like Johnny said, there's just so many to choose from. But I think I remember choosing the last game, because obviously I feel like Henningsville was beautiful, but I feel that like that view at Bergen was just that was my favorite view personally. And yes, and that, like Johnny said, just going 2-0 behind, and Gop touched on it earlier. That spa day, we came out of that spa day much more as a team, like friends, like a bit of a family feeling. And then we saw in that last game we were 2-0 down at half time. And today that was probably our worst half in the tour. We were shocking, and then to come back and win that game the way we did, just in that view, and it being our final game, just shown how far we came from the very beginning of the tour. So yeah, just the games, the views, even the game we went to watch in Boda was an experience. All that fireworks and stuff it was a new experience going to a game. But yeah, just on the whole, it was just amazing. I can't really put it down to one. It was just from start to finish better than I ever thought it would be. So, but I'll probably go for that last game. Was a special moment personally.
Awesome. And I think in that last game, and I kind of mentioned it at halftime, that there was a lot of mental fatigue as well as physical fatigue. And I kind of mentioned it at halftime, and Gop, who was on the sidelines there as championship manager, also admitted that. And I think the way the team picked themselves up in the second half, especially at the start, when we weren't necessarily scoring straight away, was incredible, and just typified so many great things. But Lance, what was your highlight of the tour?
I think, like everyone else said, there's so many to choose from. It's hard to pick just one. But yeah, I think, like you say, touching on that last game, I think from the start, really, it was strange how we all sort of had such an understanding on the football pitch, and I think that grew throughout the whole trip, and it sort of accumulated in that last half, really. And yeah, I was quite surprised that we all got on so well, and the spa was part of that, I think, and I think that got everyone really close together. I think Harold and Jaden, you weren't quite sure about going into the cold water, but
I'm still not sure.
I
regret doing it.
Yeah. No, but I thought, fair play to you for doing it, because it was, like we'd already been in and done the hard work, and you guys, yeah, and I thought that brought everyone together. So.
And Johnny, and Johnny, you many people won't know, we kind of spent 2 days around Henningsvar, there or thereabouts. And there are many people that have seen how beautiful it is and want to visit Henningsvar. So what kind of other activities did you get up to in that time?
Well, I can't say like a lot of the team, I experienced the nightlife situation as many people did with the karaoke, but I can speak for the rest of it. As well as that very good meal with the smoked whale and the cod tongues, which was definitely a highlight of the Henningsvere situation. The other thing that was very cool was ended up in a sort of glass blowing place. Like they had the kiln and everything, and you could see them blowing the glass by hand, and they were selling all their wares as well. And one of our other teammates, Josh, got one. It was quite expensive, but like absolutely gorgeous, and like you could see it getting made in front of you. So like fair play. Wish I had the funds to get one myself, but he got a little like tea mug that got made on site there. And it was very, very, like avant-garde Scandinavian design, and like, you could see them creating the same kind of things in the kiln and everything. So it was very, very cool to see that, and we were speaking to some of the staff there. It was quite interesting. A lot of them had come from the cities in the south of Norway, and a few people from Sweden as well. I kind of expected everyone in Henningsvere to be from there originally. I don't know. I just sort of suspected it wouldn't necessarily be a place you move. But it was really nice, like chatting to the staff, like who had, decided like in lockdown they wanted to change a pace. Like obviously we'd come from London, and all of Norway was like a little bit slower and quite relaxing in that sense. But even, people from Oslo and Stockholm had moved to Henningsvere to work in this place, and they were like, yeah, it's really nice having that slightly slower pace, more relaxing culture. So yeah, just kind of chatting with the locals there and getting more of a feel for the place in such a cool setting was a real highlight. And I wish now that I'd found the funds to get a little memento there, but Josh has one, so fair play to him. But yeah, it was really nice.
Awesome. And that's a wonderful observation about the pace of life in Norway and then the pace of life in the Lofoten Islands, because a few people said that, some people we met at karaoke. Is that something you found as well, Gop? What kind of things did you get up to in Henningsvar?
I think the only extracurricular activity we did was cooking. I enjoyed cooking, so cooking there was actually quite nice. It was a little different because you don't just doing the supermarket shop and not knowing any English. Lance, you can back me up on this. The first day we got there, do you remember how bad it was in that supermarket? We thought,
Oh no, yeah.
I think chicken was a pain, mayo was a pain, everything was a pain. So that was a pretty good experience. And Henningsvar was complete opposite. We walked in, we knew what we want, we walked out. Like it was really different. I don't know about you, Lance, but the thing for me was like actually when we went with the guys to watch the sunset and just having a drink. I think like watching the Norwegian sunset is just different. The clean air, you got the sea like reflecting the sunlight, just the sun setting. It was, yeah, for me that was real nice, and just getting to speak to the guys a little more. So with lost in translation a little, I'm sure.
And Harold, I feel like I should follow you on Instagram because there's always something popping off there. But I know you went and did a lot of filming in Henningsvar. What other activities did you get up to?
I won't say activities, but I was just whatever free time I got, I would literally, just because it's so beautiful, I'll just go on a walk. Literally just go for walks. I think I went on a few, and it's just went to different. I just went in different directions from the day before, and like I said earlier, you don't really you don't really believe where you are. It's just like, and then you don't see lots of people, so then that adds to the experience. And it just feels like you're there alone. And like you mentioned, I know we played the game there, and I said I stood a few times and took in where I was, but me and Johnny, obviously with Jaden, done a little bit of filming, and we were on that pitch alone. There was no one with it, so that was special in itself because that's when you can really take it in, and yeah. So it's just I was just mostly just taking it all in when I had the free time, really, just to walk around because there's not many times you'll be in a place like the one we were. So yeah, it was more walking around, just taking a stroll and taking it all in.
And Lance, every time I saw you on tour, you had a big smile on your face, and you still have one. What other activities did you get up to in Headings well?
I mean, to be honest, like Harold said, it was just sort of taking it in as we was walking around. So I went on a few walks just a bit of exploration. Obviously, it probably would have been good to have a bit, a bit more time there. And I think, to be honest, I'd be tempted to go back at some point. Going to the karaoke bar, I was expecting some sort of rundown sort of little place, but it was actually like a really nice place. And like looking out over the sea from there, you could just sort of see the sunset, just clinging on in the background. And yeah, it was really nice. And coming back, and it was still, you could still see the sunset, like even at that reasonable time we got back. Yeah, I'd love to go back, to be honest with you, and do some more exploring.
Awesome. And a couple of things I'll say. I mean, the film beautifully depicts how peed off Johnny and others were about me making you walk around Cablevargi for half an hour, 45 minutes before telling you that actually we weren't going to a press conference, we were going to a spa. And I could see Johnny's expression, which wasn't a very happy one, and then the jubilation afterwards. So that was definitely one of the better moments of the tour for me. But a lot of people see that pitch on a photo, and it's a lot of the reason why people were drawn into going to play in Henningsvar. What was it like to play on that pitch, Lance? I mean, you saw the photos, you were sold the dream, and then you ended up playing on it. How did that feel?
Well, it was good. After waiting for 2 years to play on it, it felt really good to actually get there and finally play on it, to be honest with you. But I think in the actual game, like, because I was playing, not unlike Harold, he was taking it all in. I was in game mode, so so I didn't really appreciate it at the time. I think afterwards, when you sort of like it all dies down and you just go and have a look around, and yeah, I think there's like a bit of shot of me just like looking into the distance with a beer in my hand and just sort of just taking it all in, really. So I think it was like that afterwards it sort of like sunk in a lot more. But yeah, such a great experience. And then also watching it back on the video, I thought that was brilliant. I think that's great.
And Harold, you obviously had a bit of a mind wander during the game, as you've said, and we've intimated. But there's a moment after the game where we're all looking out into the sea. What were your feelings playing on the pitch during the game and those moments after the game?
Yeah, like I said, it was a bit surreal. So whenever I had the chance, like whether it be a throw on or a foul or someone's down injured, I will just actually take in where I was and where I was playing. Because one thing's being there, and another thing's actually being there doing something you love. So it was a special experience. And yeah, like I said, it's whenever I got the chance, I just did try to take it all in. And then after, to be able to chill and then go on the rocks and stuff, and then it was again like the spa day that I felt like that moment after brought us a little bit together again, because I know we lost. Prior to that, we had won all our games, so I know we didn't want to lose, but I think looking back, I think that loss also helped us a bit as a unit. So to do that after was really nice. And then yeah, like Lance said, just the long wait to actually play there and then to actually get on it was a very special feeling. Even walking out, like we were walking out of a dugout or something, so it was nice. It was good.
So, Johnny, I know it was a picturesque pitch to play on, and I know you had to wait a while, or maybe a shorter period than others, but wait a while to play on the pitch. I also know you got clattered while you're on the pitch. Did that wake you up out of your bubble? How was it playing on the Henningsvar Stadion pitch?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even without the surroundings, the game we had to be switched on for the most. Obviously, it was the biggest challenge, the only one we lost. So it was definitely the one I was most busy for, and definitely felt it with both centre backs letting their presence known in 2 1-on-1s. So the physical aspect of it was not lost on me, but even then. Obviously, as a goalkeeper, you've got a slightly different perspective on the game as everyone else. And in the first half in particular, when the pressure wasn't on, I mean, seeing that like incredible mountain scape in the background on the non-sea side, the sort of land side, that incredible set of mountains, it was just baffling. I mean, we played in a lot of beautiful places across Norway, like as H said, in Bergen as well. You know, we had a huge sort of cliff on the side of us, but I don't think anything will ever really compare to that first half view. Like, you really do have to keep your wits about you to stay focused when there's so much natural beauty. And then, yeah, as Lance was saying as well, at the end of the game, when the pressure was off, you know, we were climbing up on the rocks and looking out over that full sort of 360 view. And at that point, like, really, you're no longer focused on the game. You can really take in the fact that you're on the very, very edge of land on this little island in the Arctic Circle with mountains everywhere. And, you know, you're not going to see that kind of sight very often in your life. And, you know, the beers that the club provide us with definitely help the atmosphere as well. You know, a gorgeous atmosphere, but having a beer to sip alongside it, you know, there was a very, very idyllic place. And it's going to be a moment that will stick with me, I reckon.
Awesome. And Gop, I have this image of you coming off towards the end of the game to replace me. You didn't even want to slap hands because you were bruised and blooded. It couldn't have been all bad playing on that pitch, surely, Gop?
No, it was pretty special actually. You know, I think going to the pitch, you know, the smell of the fish, because there's loads of fishery around. The kind of the water, just the pitch itself was quite wide, kind of short, but it was pretty special because just seeing all the pictures, all the hype beforehand. I think that was your flagship game, wasn't it? Well, to play on that pitch for us when you were pitching it. So yeah, definitely playing was a special experience. Getting the views after it and just seeing, as Johnny said, seeing the mountains, seeing the sea was just topped it all off. But I think for me, one thing I remember a lot about that game was I'm trying not to boot the ball out. We boot a ball out, we're losing that ball. So I never wanted to put my foot through anything, to be honest. So that was something I remember. But apart from that, yeah, just a really nice pitch, really nice scene to play in, and just a special place, I think, with just everything going on that day.
And when we were on the rocks, there were a lot of people talking about retiring. There were a lot of people thinking that was their swan song. And partly because it was so beautiful and we were able to take in the view, but a lot of people probably felt, wow, can football ever be as good as this again? Can it ever be as beautiful? But we have said we're going to tour again, and we have said we're going to go to another place. We've touted Thailand, the Faroe Islands, and we've also had invitations to come to Spain, where El Dia Después are from, of course. Now, you've probably gone onto the internet, guys, and looked at other countries and looked at other beautiful pitches. Is there anywhere in particular you would like to play next, Harold?
You put me on the spot here. Can you come back to me?
Sure. That sounds familiar, Harold. Johnny.
Yeah, again, I don't know. My mind's mulling over. I mean, all three of the places that have been suggested there sound incredible, really. Like, I've never been to any of them, especially in particular. I think there was one place in Spain that was particularly high on the agenda. I'm not sure if I'm remembering that right, Walt, but so yeah, I've never been to any of them. I'd welcome all of them, really. I mean, being able to combine traveling to places that you haven't been to and like playing against other countries, like, I think, you know, the style of football you can definitely tell is different as well, which is such an interesting thing. Like, obviously, any holiday, you know, you experience the culture that's different. But like, I've been on 2 tours in my life, including this one. My previous one was in California before, and like, both of which you really, really do notice that there's a different playing style. So I think regardless of where we'll be on the agenda next, which would be open to whoever would have us, you know, of course. But I think there'd be something to it'd be very, very interesting to see not just the culture, but how people play there as well. So blank slate, really. I mean, I know it's a bit of a cop-out answer, but I'd be up for playing in any of the places suggested and many, many other places as well.
That's okay. You're allowed to have a cop-out answer, especially after what Harold just did.
Yeah, passing the buck. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
So, Lance, it was your first trip to Scandinavia. Where would you like to go next?
I don't know. Like Johnny says, I think like all the places suggested do sound pretty good. I'm sure the Faroe Islands would be very interesting. Obviously, Thailand as well. That would be a completely different sort of culture and style of football to sort of play against, and you know, places to see as well. I think somewhere sunny would be good. Although it was nice in Norway, I think somewhere sunny would be very nice. So I am open to Spain. I'd love to play there. I think the style of football would probably be very different, and we'd have to do a lot more running, and be a lot more keep our concentration a lot more. But yeah, I'd love to play in Spain and give that a go. Yeah, somewhere sunny.
And Gob, you're going to be instrumental in planning a trip to Thailand, which is in the offing. Is there anywhere else you would like to go?
I think probably for me is Japan. I mean, I kind of love Japanese culture anyway, but there are some really interesting pitches to play on Japan. There's in Tokyo, there's a few rooftop pitches, so they don't have enough land space to have football pitches, so they're kind of on rooftops. Yokohama has some like really nice pitches where, you know, you get a pitch, but then there's loads of local parks near, so it feels like you're out in nature. But then there's also some islands that have some football pitches as well. I think Japan probably be there. In terms of football, I've only played with a few Japanese guys, but they just run. So I'm not a big fan of that. But yeah, I would love to play in Japan.
Awesome. H.
I think I have to side on with Lance, really. It was a bit chilly out there, but I think it would be nice to play in front of the sun. And on a personal level, style-wise, it will be a dream to maybe play in South America, where I'm from. I think just to play there where my parents are from, I think that would be amazing. Yeah, that would be a special one.
Awesome. So the dry, arid pitches of South America.
Mm-hmm.
But that would be cool because the landscape will be beautiful as well. So there you have
something to say on the weather. Given that I got sunburn in Norway, we gotta be careful about how.
We'll take some factor 50, Johnny. We'll take.
I'll need SPF 50 absolute minimum. But like, if you coat me in sun cream, maybe we can go to, you know, South America or something like that today.
So there you have it, folks. Shaolin Badgers coming to a city near you. Thanks, guys, for joining me on the podcast, and we'll see you somewhere very soon.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you.